Good evening, aloha, and buenos dias, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jaspiru, and today I'm going to give you my first impression on a new game I've been playing, a new fishing game, obviously, Fishing Planet. Now they got it wrong there. That wouldn't have been a good start. Do apologise. I have had a flu the last few days. I've not been able to do anything at all, pretty much. But yeah, I've been playing this game for about nearly a week now. I would say just under a week, and obviously my favourite fish is Fishing Sim World Pro Tour. I played that quite a lot, played it for the last few years. And I saw this as it was free on the PlayStation Store, so I thought I'd give it a go. Here's my first impressions. Firstly, obviously, maybe as hell, the graphics aren't particularly great. That's my had to be my first criticism from the first view of it. I see some of the trees look quite, two-dimensional, if anything, and as such, the fish aren't overly great textured. The water doesn't look amazing. There's a boat here that looks average, but which you can rent out, as you can see, but it's not particularly my cup of tea. But yeah, in terms of catching fish, it's a very much more realistic, I would say, but also very, very frustrating. You obviously your line breaking, also all the usual things, but you can get one thing. As I said, it's more realistic. You can get things like snagged on trees and stuff like that, and underwater features, so you can have the risk of losing your gear. I did find one of the big problems I've had. This is called Emerald Lake. This is one of the lower level venues, but it's also one of the best venues for earning in-game monies, such as, like, say if you were playing Fishing Sim World Pro Tour, you do the carp offline carp tournaments, and you get 15 grand worth of coin, which would be enough to get a whole new setup. Oh, there we go. I finally got a fish. This is I'm farming walleye today because they are very profitable. You get, as I see here, you get XP and you get money for it, and it shows you the size and stuff. You get a nice view of it. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to see. That one, there we go. So you can have a good look at it. And see, it's not. I don't particularly think it's as nice looking as Fishing Sim World. And also, that's one of the other features you can have on this game is you can keep fish, or you can release them. If you keep them, you get all the money you earn from them. If you release them, you only get the XP. And obviously, you need more XP to level up, and the more you level up, the better gear you can buy. But then you do get less experience if you use more advanced gear on lower level fish as such. But you obviously start off with the float rods, basic stuff. There's a few free DLCs you can get with the game. It does help you along your way, admittedly, but it also can throw you off a bit in terms of your inventory space and stuff like that, and what you can and can't have. So you want to get stuff, but you need other stuff. You may have to get rid of some other stuff first, or pay to upgrade your inventory. And unlike Fishing Sim World, this does have two in-game currencies. So you got your obviously your cash there, as you get from catching fish. And there's also what's called bait coins, which is like a currency you can buy on the PlayStation Store. Obviously, I'm a PlayStation 4 player, so I do play on the PlayStation 4. And that makes it kind of very much a play to win game, is what I would call it, since it's free, but it makes you want to buy all the DLCs and all these extra add-ons. But overall, I have to say, in one way or another, it's got me. Ironically, the word I'm going to use is hooked. Some nights I just can't sleep when I'm thinking, right, I can get that new keep net, which allows you, in the top right hand corner there, you see I've got what's called the Fish Cabin L. You can basically upgrade those, and the bigger size you have that, the more fish you can keep in a session, because you have to pay to go to each venue and catch the fish and buy a license for the day, and it can be quite methodical in that sense. But yeah, as I said, it has hooked me on. There are a huge variety of different fish in this game. There's about, well, to be honest, I've lost count. I think it's about 70 to 100 different varieties of fish. And then on top of that, you got your trophy-sized fish, which class as a different, type of fish, and then you've got your unique fish for each venue. Oh, nearly lost it there. But yeah, a few good points there. And rather annoyingly, it's a bit fiddly to work out, but once you do get the hang of it, it does come into its own. You just need to kind of, it is a very grindy game. Just to put out that to my brother, I don't know if any guys out there have ever played it, but I certainly spent a lot of time as a youngster, as a teenager, playing a game called RuneScape. It's very much of a grind game. You just have to grind it out sometimes to your benefit, or before you get the membership, which turns kind of more into a pay to win game, as I'd like to call them. But yeah, that didn't go very well. It is taking a bit of time to get hang of. I'm working my way up the ladder. I'm level like 20, 22, 23 out of, I think level 80 is the highest you can go. Obviously it does take a lot longer to get to those levels, but I'm kind of grinding a few days to get as much money as I can, so I can go back and do the early levels and do some other. Obviously each venue's got challenges. There's a load of different venues which you obviously unlock the more you level up. Let's see, what else can I say? I'll say one of the downsides I have to it is there's not much going on. Whereas you on Fishing Sim World is one of the games I like to compare it to. You can see fish jumping, you can hear them splashing around. There's a lot, it kind of keeps you on your edge, and you see this and you see that. Whereas all you can see in this, really, there's not much sound you can hear. I've even got my headset on, turned to the max volume, and all I can really hear is a few birds tweeting, and a little bit of pollen or dust, whatever the pollen balls will fly towards you. And that'll be it, really, apart from that. And obviously I've got a little bell on the end of one of my rods, so I know that if I get a bite, I have to switch over to that rod, like so. And this is another thing, switching between rods is an utter ball ache. The amount of fish I've lost waiting to switch between rods because of the animation where he's got to put it down and then pick it up, and then by the time you pick it up, literally the second you pick it up, it's like, oh, you've lost it. So it can be quite a ball ache, but in some ways it makes it more. You could say it makes it more of a challenge. But at the same time, I don't see where I can just allow me to quickly switch between them. But hey ho. Let's see. In terms of tension, as you see, there's a nice. This is what I've got, a popular setting. It's called the Pro settings, and you go into your settings, you can change various things about it. And on the side here, you see these bars going up and down. It shows you how well your different bits of equipment are coping. A trophy one, I'll have that. Coping in terms of catching the fish. So obviously you've got your reel, your rod, and your line. Obviously, your line, if your line breaks, that's it, you lose the fish and anything on your line. So your hook and your bait, and also your leader. That's the word I was looking for. So you'll have to pay to replace them, and if you haven't got a spare one in your backpack, you have to go to the in-game shop, which turns out it's more expensive on the in-game shop than it is on the main menu. You can get them for half price in the menu. It's nearly twice as expensive when you buy them at the lake. Makes sense, I suppose, but yeah, as I see, it's all kind of similar. You've got your Twitch methods of reeling in. Oh, another one. Let's go. You can get up to, obviously I've got just a small 2-rod stand. That's one of the first things I kind of bought, but you can get up to like I think it's like something ridiculous, like a 7-rod stand, and part of the DLCs or something like that. But yeah, how you can keep track of all of them, I'll never know. But it's as I say, it has its pros and it has its downsides. Whereas I think Fishing Sim World is more one of those where you can easily just jump into it, go straight to like Lake Boulder, catch a load of huge long-nosed gars. Excuse me. This one, you got to plan ahead. You got to, plan your trip. Think, have I got enough bait? Have I got enough spare tackle? Have I got the right setups with you before you go? Because if you go and you don't, then that's a load of money wasted. And it doesn't say I'm only getting what 200 coins of fish, and for this trip alone, it's cost me 4,500 coins just to go here for 3 days. In that time, if I do it properly, I am gonna make an absolute, maybe 15 to 20,000 coins in return. So I can basically just do this so I can move up to the next main area, which is going to be a bass hunting area in the Everglades, I think it's called. Yeah, somewhere called the Florida Everglades. Makes kind of sense, really. Obviously, I do like predator fishing, and then I think a few levels after that, I can go to another place where the main one you catch for money making anyway is northern pike and stuff like that. So that's kind of the aim for me. I've got a little step ladder going. And the only reason I've known that is because I followed a load of videos online. I did try it myself. I went to I thought, if I look this venue now, I'll go there and I'll do a few things there and see what I can get. And it just kind of all fell through the floor, and all the progress, all the money I'd made, I ended up losing because I spent it on brand new equipment. And that was the end of that, basically. I wish I'd gone back and watched these videos from the start, which kind of pointed me in the right direction that people have made. Because, as I say, it was a major help in order to say, like, right, stay here, do this, do that, finish these first 2 levels off first, and then you can, come to this lake, get the right setup, and he's off again. See, I'm not doing very well with my spinner, but this feeder rod is well away. And I have to say that bell becomes right annoying. I wish you could change the name, the type of noise it makes, to like a buzzer or something like that, or play a nice little tune. But it's got a little rattle on the end, which is rather annoying. And I'm also running out of bait quite quickly. But yeah, I did find a bit of an annoying glitch, which I didn't have a clue about, and I had to Google it and see if anyone else had this problem. But basically, I was here for about an hour, and obviously I'm catching fish quite regularly at the minute. But earlier on, for about a good half an hour at least, maybe even up to an hour, I think I was just literally casting and waiting and waiting and waiting, casting and casting, and I didn't catch a single thing. All that time, I was like, what's going on? I was like, what a waste of time that was. And all I had to do was just come out, go into the menu, switch to there's a spot just over there on the bank you can cast from. Set there, caught a couple of fish from there, and all was well. I was happy to say. Let's try a different approach for this one. Yeah, as I said, there's a load of different type of equipment, much more types of equipment than Fishing Sim World, I have to say. And all have a different, uniqueness about them. But it's much easier to lose stuff. It's much more tactical. And if you guys want to try something differently, I'd definitely give it a try. The first venue does start off very, very boring, catching your panfish like your crappies and your your shiners. Oh, there we go. I've got one. But it's not a big one by the looks of it. No. This might be a trophy fish, is it? Yeah, no, not even that. No, I'll let him go. So as you can see, there's plenty of fish going on. Obviously each venue has only like maybe 6 to 10 different types of fish in it, but each of them has their own levels, and there's online leaderboards because it is an online game technically, but you can just play it single player, but you do need an internet connection in order to play this game. But ins and outs of it, it does have its pros and cons, as most games do. let's see, but it can be quite annoying. Like I'm currently just playing. I've created my own little game room. It's like a friends only room. Unfortunately, I don't have any friends that play it because I don't have many friends on at all. But yeah, when there is other people in the area, because obviously this is a very, very, very popular area for money making, and you see people walking back and forwards, and I've seen people. There was a guy last night, and he had a boat, and he was just driving around in circles in the middle of the map and right in front of me, and it was just so annoying. I'm just like, what are you doing, mate? It was funny at first, but after 10 minutes, you just want to tell him to bugger off. But yeah, the only thing was the engine just going round and round and round. I'm not catching anything. It's full again. What is going on? This is one of the frustrating things, because this game does have it shows you what the best time of day is, because obviously the weather changes on each different day and day to day, and it does show you the best times of day where you're going to get the most bites. And I'm at what's known as the peak time, which is like one of those times where you are meant to get a load of fish. But I think it's having a bit of a moment on me again. Come on. Oh. No. There we go. There we go. I was getting worried there for a second. There's another one. Walleye, and then he leveled up. Wonderful. Because I'm really, really looking forward to moving on. Because I've been in this area now for maybe 2-3 whole days now. I'm just looking forward to catching aiming for a different fish. Like the next one is bass. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Be making a nice change of different settings, different scenarios. But I do need a lot of money. I need, according to my calculations, I need just under 30 grand's worth of equipment. And obviously, when you're catching fish that are only worth like 250 coins, it's gonna take a while. On top of all the costs and stuff. But oh, yep. So you need to be catching them quickly and regularly in order to not waste time. But, I mean, to fill my entire fish net with fish, it was taking me about, I don't know, an hour, just under 45 minutes at minimum on this venue. But on the new one I'm going to do, apparently it does take you maybe half an hour, so it can be a lot quicker. But it is a lot more expensive. It's twice as expensive to go there, because it's like twice the level. This is a decent. Whoa, what we got here is your trophy. Could use more trophies. Nope, just a regular one. But I've leveled up, so that's an extra 10 grand, over grand and a half. And you see, as you see there, every level you level up, you unlock new equipment. This is always good. Let's see, I don't need that braid yet, but I'll keep him. So yeah, it's you know, so much like sweet crucian, and I'm guessing that's your oils, leaders and stuff. And then there's your pop-ups, there's your pay to win pop-ups. Basically every time you come in or out of a menu, that pops up. It's like, bugger off, I'm not paying you for your game when I don't really need to. Not yet anyway. When I'm at high level, then yes, I might consider it, but it's not payday till tomorrow, so bugger off and stop reminding me. Yeah, what am I doing? Get myself confused between the different casts. I might make myself a cup of tea in a minute. This is just my first impression, guys. It's you know, it can be annoying when it rains. One of the things that's another thing. The weather the water literally looks like it's dripping down your screen, and it says in one of the hints and tips that, oh, you can stop this by wearing a hat. I'm like, all right, then how do I get a hat? And it's like, oh, you have to pay for it. I'm like, ugh, I've got to pay real money for a hat just to stop the water dripping down my screen. You know, just. Oh, I thought he was going to bite. I just missed him there. Like, you greedy, greedy buggers. I'm like, oh, why are all fishing games so greedy in terms of money? You know, I remember the Bass Hunter, one of my first games I ever played was on PlayStation 1, and that was literally just, it wasn't even online, so they couldn't be greedy. It was just difficult, and at least that was a challenge. Come on, fish, let's catch another one. But the fishing, as I say, the catching fish is pretty much the same methods as got him. Yep, there we go. It's pretty similar to Fishing Sim World. You know, you got your stop and go, your twitch, your fast and slow retrieve. He's going. Come back here. But I see the graphic. I mean, those lily pads over there look atrocious. The trees look like, as I say, something out of. I mean, I was playing Skyrim for the last couple of days as well. The trees in this game looks like trees in Skyrim look so much better, and that's nearly over 10 years old now. So shall I say any more? There we go, another walleye. That's what we like. See, I'm getting over a point to the pound. That's good. That's what I'm after. Oh, that's off as well. So catching fish. I've only got another. What's that? 15 pounds worth of fish. See, it's just so difficult. You got to. Quickest way is just to point it down, but still, the amount of fish I've lost trying to do that. Whereas on Fishing Sim World, you just press the left direction button, pick the rod, bang, you're away. Whereas this, you got like 10-15 seconds and that's it. There we go, another one. Yep, it's not as good, but I'll take him. He's got a little chat down on the bottom which shows you how well you've been doing, so it does kind of show you the time and what you caught, and it does share what other people have been catching. If you're in the same room as them, obviously, when I say room, obviously it does create its own little servers and whatnot. And it's all done online, but I like to be by myself, so there's nobody running in front of me like some idiots do. Oh. But I do say I can't not recommend it for what it is. It's not. Go on. There we go. Yeah, I can't not recommend it for what it is. Considering it is free, don't really have to do a lot. Especially if you follow something the beginner guides online, it can make it a lot more enjoyable. You'll catch a lot more fish. You'll break a lot less equipment, and just generally have a lot more fun. And as I say, once you get to a certain point that I'm aiming for, I'm going to go back and do all the venues, all the lower level venues, and do all the challenges for catching all the different types of fish and stuff. And you can even one of the funny ones I found is when you start from beginner levels, you can catch things like turtles by accident, and pondweed and branches and things like that. But it's all part of unlockables. You know, you can get random rare equipment if you catch them all and stuff like that. So it does sound quite fun. Well, it wasn't fun. It's just quite annoying when you're trying to catch stuff, real fish for bass and all that. But still, Let's see. Oh, I'm nearly at £80. So I've got a few more yet, and then I can wrap it up. That should give me a nice. I'll say about £7 worth of equipment of fish there. That's not bad. Let's say I do need like 27, 28 ideally in order to move on to the Everglades, which I'm very looking forward to do. If I can do that tonight, I will. But given the time, it's like 7 o'clock, and this is only day one. And I've been playing it for about a good hour and a half now, just this bit, so. Come on. Anyway, I think we'll leave it there, folks. So as you can see, this is just one menu. There are loads of other ones, but my main, to summarise, worst bits about it: the graphics and the fact that it is kind of a pay-to-win game. Good bits, positives is it can be quite addicting, very challenging. Lots of different equipment you can use. And there's obviously plenty of online videos, much more I found than Fishing Sim World, because it is online, and obviously for some reason today people love their online games. And there's all sorts of online challenges and stuff, but you can play it single player, which is nice, as I am doing now. Just got the whole map to myself, which is lovely. It's kind of the way I like it most times. Again, the downside is, you know, it's just needs to be very repetitive and grindy, and kind of unnecessary at times, because it does kind of force you to change your position and go to like a different area, come back out and come back in. I think I've caught all I can at the minute from this day. I'll give it to that oh, I thought I had something there, never mind. One thing is there's like a map you can bring out to show you the depths, and you can place markers on it. You see I've got a marker just there on the tip of my rod, which kind of shows me where the best place to aim for is really. So it's kind of the edge of the deep water, where the deep water meets the shallow water. It's known to be one of the very good places to catch the walleye that I'm trying to aim for. Come on, one more. But yeah, graphically it's not great. That's have to be one of my biggest issues. I can understand it be grindy because they want to want you to pay for all the DLCs, but and there's also a membership program. If you can pay like something ridiculous like £8 a month, then you'll get double the amount of money you earn and stuff like that. It's all pointless to my book, really. You don't really need it. But anyway, folks, all the best. Keep watching. I will be uploading more videos on this when I get to the Everglades, and I'll show you some bass fishing and stuff like that, and see if we can get some anything else. But I'm surprised I haven't caught any other fish apart from walleye. It makes a nice change, to say the least. Anyway, this is Jaspiro out. Have a good evening, folks. Do like and subscribe.